Hello and welcome to another episode of WVU Energy Express on West Virginia Public Broadcasting and YouTube. I'm your host, Zach Harold. I just heard from our friend Rosemary, and she's still out there scooting through the state on her cryptid road trip. She says she's found something really neat. You guys want to go check it out? I think so too. Let's go.
Hi there, I'm Rosemary Hathaway. I'm a professor of English here at West Virginia University, and I teach folklore classes. And welcome to the West Virginia Cryptid Road Trip. And how this is going to work is we're going to travel all around West Virginia and visit all the cryptids that you've probably already heard about, but find out more about them and see which ones are in your backyard. So the Flatwoods Monster, also known as Braxxie, was first sighted in 1952. People say they saw a bright light in the sky and something crashing into the mountains outside of Flatwoods. Unfortunately, Braxxie hasn't been sighted since, but she's still a cryptid fan favorite. Now we're going to head over to our WVU extension friend in Braxton County, who's going to tell us all about the Flatwoods Monster, also known as Braxxie.
Hi, my name is Rachel Meininger, and today I'm in Flatwoods, West Virginia in Braxton County, standing in front of the Flatwood Monster Museum. It was in this area in 1952 when two boys were playing on a playground and saw a bright light pass through the sky. Curious, they grabbed their moms and their dog and headed to the source of the light. It was there that they saw the 10-foot-tall creature, its head shaped like a spade and what appeared to be a black metal dress. The creature's hands were twisted and clawed, and its eyes glowed an eerie orange color. It appeared to levitate off the ground, and a sickening mist hung in the air. The creature then glided and hissed towards the witnesses, who turned and fled in fear. Many others have witnessed seeing the monster in the area, and many claim to feel sick after seeing it.
Sheepsquatch is a type of cryptid that's known in other places as just a white thing. Basically, it's what it sounds like. A tall, white-furred creature that stands on its hind legs and has a head like a sheep. It was first sighted in the southern parts of West Virginia in the early 1990s and has been seen all over southern West Virginia and even reportedly in Monongalia and Marion counties since then. All right, now we're headed down to the southern part of West Virginia to talk to one of our WVU extension friends about Sheepsquatch.
Hi, my name's Kayla Borboom, and I am the WVU Extension 4-H agent for McDowell and Wyoming counties. I'm currently in Panther State Forest for 4-H camp, and so I thought that it would be a great place for me to tell you guys a story. Have you guys ever heard of Sheepsquatch? I know I've never heard of Sheepsquatch. I can barely say Sheepsquatch, but he is one of the newest cryptids for West Virginia, and he made his debut back in the 1990s. And I'm going to tell you what he looks like, supposedly, and he sounds kind of scary, but don't worry. They say he's never hurt anybody, he's never hurt a fly, so just keep your eyes peeled. They say that the Sheepsquatch is the size of a large bear, that he's got white woolly fur, a long pointed head similar to a dog's with saber-like teeth, and a single set of horns kind of similar to a ram's. They call him the White Thing, and he's known to stink. And when I say stink, I mean like skunk stink. So you'll probably smell him before you see him. So I find this story really fun to tell because it's not something set somewhere that we're unfamiliar with. You can tell kids, you can tell other people. This is a story that's set in southern West Virginia, so it's something that you might actually see. So the next time you're around a campfire, why don't you share the story of Sheepsquatch, the 6-foot sheep that lives in southern West Virginia? Thank you so much for listening, and keep your eyes peeled for Sheepsquatch. Bye. Have a great day.
Rosemary makes me want to take a road trip of my own, but if we're going to take a road trip, we need a car. Our friend Dave stopped by to show us how to make our very own air car. Let's see what he has for us.
Hi, my name is David Hartley. I'm the 4-H agent in Braxton County, and today we're going to look at our camp science experiment. And so we're going to make an air car. And so what an air car is, an engineering design activity. We're going to engage our young people in learning how to create a air car that's going to capture the air from our fan today. Sometimes it would be outside, we catch air from outside, but we're going to use a fan today for that. And we want to maximize that to make sure that we are able to get it to go as far as we can. And so to start off, a couple things that we need our template that you can download for our air card. And then we also need a bendy straw. We need 2 non-bendy straws. If you can't get non-bendy straws, that's okay. We'll talk about how to take care of. Then you need 4 round, hard candies. And so you also need a pair of scissors and a pair of punch hole and plenty of tape. And so to do this, we're going to start off by having the participants cut out the template. And they're just going to cut on the solid line on the template. And so you're going to have basically 3 squares that you're going to be working with. And so we've got our body for a car there. And then the bottom part where the flying WV and the clover are is going to be what we're going to catch our air, or air fin. So we'll set that off to the side because we're going to start with the body of our car. So you see dotted lines on our paper, and so those dotted lines are you're going to actually use for folding. And so we're going to go ahead and fold our first dotted line to make sure that we start to create the body of our car. And then you notice we're going to have another folded line, dotted line that you're going to fold on. Now once you've got that done, you can start to work on putting together your air car. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use 2 straws. And they need to be similar in make. And so it's important that these straws fit nicely onto your round candy. That's the most important thing. If you happen to have bendy straws only, go ahead and cut off the bendy part of your straw, and that will help with that process. Now you're going to open up the top of your car, and you're going to build your axles. And so these straws are going to become your axles. And you can choose as an individual if you want them to be a little shorter or longer. That's the length is up to you. So I'm going to cut a little bit off, and I'm going to put it about a 1/2 inch away from the dotted line. Now, because this is your air car, you can design it however you want. You can put the axles wherever you think is best. That's going to allow for the car to travel the farthest distance. So I'm just taking 2 pieces of tape and attaching them to our template. I'm going to take our other straw, measure it up there and make sure I cut about the same amount off. And I think if you can align it as best you can so it's straight on the paper, that's really important as well. And that's sometimes hard when the straw is moving, but you want to make sure you get one side taped down and make sure you match that side alignment. And that'll make sure it goes straight when you're designing your air car. Now we've got that on, we're going to take a second and we're going to punch a hole here in the center of our air car. And that's going to be for our next straw when we get done. So you're going to fold this over and make sure that we're going to fold that over here, and you're going to just put a piece of tape across there. That will allow us to kind of secure the top part of our air car. Now we're going to put our wheels onto our air car. And these round candies will act as our wheels. We'll just simply put a wheel on. We're going to take a piece of tape and we're going to wrap it around each of the axles to secure it on. It needs about 3 or 4 times around to make sure that it doesn't come off when it is moving. So you can test that by just giving it a little tug, and then it doesn't come off the straw. Then we'll repeat that 4 times to make sure that we've got them all secured onto the axle. So I've got my front done, or maybe your back, depending on how you're designing it. Now, while your car is going, it's important that we pay close attention to how these are aligned. We want to look at the amount of friction, and friction is a force that 2 surfaces rubbing together create, and that'll actually cause the car to slow, your air car to slow by the amount of friction that it's causing. So you want to make sure that these are free from the tape and free from the edge. And so that's really important that you keep that in mind. Now we've got our wheels taken care of. It's time to put our wind catcher. So we're going to use a bendy straw to do that. And so first thing, we're going to get our part that has our clover and flying WV. We're going to use that hole punch again. Where those blue marks are there, you're going to punch those out. And you can pre-punch those if you want to, if you have folks to be able to do that. You're going to take your straw through one side of it, the non-bendy end, and then you're going to take that up to the top. And that's going to be how you're going to catch your air with your straw. Now that we've got that through, we've kind of got our sail that we're going to catch our air. We have to attach our sail. And it's good maybe just put a couple pieces of tape here on the back to make sure your sail doesn't fly off your straw. Now I've taken that hole that I've punched and we're going to put that straw inside of that. Oh, see, I have a problem. I didn't get enough tape on that one. So it's important that we go back and put that wheel on and secure it with a little more tape. All right. Now we want to secure our sail. Now you can create your sail in whatever way. Let's say you don't like this design of the sail. You can create that to be a different size or shape depending on what you think is the best way to catch the most air. I'm going to reach inside of here and I'm going to place some tape on that straw to keep it in one place. And I'm also going to secure it on the outside as well by putting a piece of tape around the outside to make sure it is secured to the top, that we're able to catch as much air as we possibly can. All right, now we've got our air car ready. And so it's good to have a couple maybe fellow campers that you can race with. And so to do that, you need a fan or an outside air source, but a good fan is good to have. And so we're going to take a 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to launch and see how far we can get it to go and what for. And so let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Our air car is successful. And so you notice it started to turn just a little bit. That's okay. You want to see how far you can get it to go. Now this is a really important part. Let's see you give it a try. You try it out in front of your fan and see how well it does. Then look at it, see what you will need to change about. Maybe you need to straighten up one of your axles because it's going to an angle. Maybe the fan is blowing your wind catcher down, so it's not keeping it up, it's not catching enough air. So you can adjust those. Those are things you can adjust before your final race. So this is an easy way to do our camp science experiment that focuses on catching air and engineering design. And so that's really hopefully have a fun time with this and fun activity.
Well, I think we might need to make other plans for our road trip because I don't think we're going to fit in the air car. But still, what a fun activity. I can't wait to make my own. Well, now let's go check in on our friends Mike and Bruce and see how that camping trip is going.
Bruce, it's the most glorious time for the camping trip.
The most glorious time?
The most glorious time. Do you know what time it is?
I don't. Marshmallow time.
Yeah, I'm getting a little hungry. My recycled stick from used wood on the forest floor. I didn't cut this or take it from a tree.
Just found one that was down.
I did.
Whittled out the points.
I did, indeed. Would
But
you
now,
like a marshmallow?
I would, but this brings up a good topic because I think we need to talk about how to dispose of this stuff. I don't mean we can dispose of the marshmallows. I know that.
The marshmallows.
But we're gonna have a bag here, and we're gonna have a stick here that we've used marshmallows on. We're gonna have other trash. How do we get rid of this stuff? We need to talk about that.
Well, that's a good point, Bruce, because there's nothing that'll damage this campsite and the rest of the woods than trash laying around. And it actually makes me kind of angry when I see it.
Want to double down here.
Okay. I'm on it.
Right.
So Bruce, what do you think we should do? Once this bag, I'm assuming it's going to be empty here in a little while.
Oh yeah, it'll be empty in no time. There's two of us. My gosh, we can surely get through all those. Well, I think one of the basic tenets of camping is to take whatever trash you took in, take it back out with you. So
Easy enough.
water bottles.
It
We're not going
happens.
to burn that bottle. We're going to crumple this bottle up when it's empty, and we're going to put it in our pack and take it out, or put it in a trash bag we brought with us and take the trash bag out. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's no reason for us to bring any of that stuff in and leave it here. I did bring a trash bag with me, Bruce, so when we get finished, maybe we can go ahead and put those things in. without the marshmallows and without the water, the trash doesn't weigh anything.
Right. And the same goes for things like this, these freeze-dried meals, these backpacker meals. You think, oh, once I've eaten that, I can just burn that. But then these have foil in them typically, and they don't burn good. They leave a lot of residue in that fire pit, right?
I've seen them in other fire rings. You're right.
Yeah.
They stay right there.
So put that in your trash bag. Like you said, it doesn't weigh hardly anything now. Put it in your pack and away you go with it, right?
Well, and think what a mess it would make too if it doesn't burn completely and you have that residue in there for the wildlife to scatter it around.
Right.
What a
right,
mess.
Right. Let's roast some marshmallows.
I love it. You know, Bruce, this isn't the only kind of trash we make in the woods.
Well, I think I know where you're going, but tell me.
Well, I mean, sooner or later, you know, if a bear goes in the woods, sooner or later, so will we.
Yep, that's true. Can't hold it for 3 days.
No, there's no way to make that happen. But there is a way for us to handle that in such a way that it minimizes the impact that we have on our campsite too. So I think first we need to think about the integrity of the water. We need to make sure the water stays clean. And so before we decide to do whatever we have to do in the woods, we need to find a place that's at least 300 feet away from a water source.
Like any pond, creek,
Yes.
any water source at all, basically, to stay away from them.
That's correct.
Yep.
And then secondly, well, we packed a plastic shovel, a little trowel with us, and so we're going to bury anything that we deposit.
Like what they call like a cat hole.
A cat hole, that's exactly right. Now, if for some reason you didn't have the trowel, you can always roll a rock, and that makes a cat hole, although I don't like to do that as well because it does disturb that rock, and then you put it back in place. And then also any paper that you bring along with you for that purpose, it needs to be biodegradable paper. So much of the wet wipes have a polyester,
Right.
A polyester base to them that does not decompose at all. And then when you're finished, you need to cover your waste and try to dress the ground as best you can so it looks
Like you were never there.
like I was never there, and that is no trace ethic.
Yeah, and in addition to that, when you have an established campsite, we've set up here. We have our tent up here on the bank, and we've set up here. You don't want to do that. Leave your waste right outside the edge of the campsite. You want to go a little distance away.
That's right.
And for the next people that come to camp, they don't come and stumble on your waste that's right there beside the campsite.
Or more importantly, me stumble onto theirs.
Exactly.
Marshmallows are almost finished.
Yeah, good, looking good. Well, as we finish these marshmallows, which are looking really good, you tune in next time when we talk about being courteous to others that are camping out there while you are too.
Still good.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting kind of hungry. Let's go see Molly in the kitchen and see what she has for us to snack on today.
Hi, I'm Molly with West Virginia University Extension Family Nutrition Program, and today we're making a snappy pea salad. We've got dressing ingredients plus our salad ingredients, and we're going to put them together and make a delicious salad. I have pre-washed all of our produce, washed my hands and our cooking surfaces, so I'm all ready to get started. For this recipe, you need a cup of shredded carrots, and I just shredded this on a box grater. This was about 2 large carrots. I washed and peeled them and then just shredded them like it was cheese. A 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds, a 1/2 pound of sugar snap peas that have the tough ends and stems broken off and any strings removed. A red bell pepper that we are going to dice, and a medium to large cucumber. These are the salad ingredients, and then our dressing ingredients include 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 2 tablespoons of honey, a 1/4 cup of a light tasting oil. Olive oil might be a little strong, so we used canola oil. A 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and then 1 tablespoon of lime juice and a few cracks of fresh ground black pepper. We're gonna put the dressing ingredients together first in our large bowl and then cut up all of our veggies and add that in. So the first thing I'm going to do is take our lime that I've washed, cut it in half and get some juice out. If you don't have a citrus juicer like this, you can just squeeze the lime, and you could put a coffee filter or a paper towel over it, and that will catch any seeds. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to add is my Dijon mustard, and then our 2 tablespoons of honey. So already we know this is going to have that delicious honey mustard taste. A 1/4 cup of oil, 1/2 teaspoon garlic powder, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of lime juice. So I'm going to whisk that together to incorporate the oil and the juice. Okay, and just set that aside until we get all of our vegetables ready to go. So the carrots, the sunflower seeds, our snap peas, we are going to cut in half crosswise just to make it easier to eat. They may not all need it, just depends on how big they are. Now I'm going to cut up my red pepper. I like to cut around the side, keeps all the seeds intact with the stem. Cut these into strips and then line up my strips and dice them. Now with our cucumber, we're just going to cut off the sides and make our 2 flat surfaces. You could peel this if you wanted. You could also scoop out the seeds. It's up to you. And I'm just going to cut these in half moons. I'm going to give my dressing a quick whisk before I add all my veggies. I'm going to add my carrots. It's a cup of shredded carrots. 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds, 1/2 pound of snap peas, our red pepper, and our cucumber. I've got all my ingredients incorporated, giving it a few cracks of fresh ground black pepper. This is such a pretty dish. What a great salad to make. Use up vegetables from your garden. It's such a fresh, bright color with the orange and the red and the green. For a full list of ingredients and directions for this recipe and so many others, head on over to our YouTube channel or our webpage. I hope you give this snappy pea salad a try and join me again sometime soon. Bye-bye.
That's it for another episode of WVU Energy Express. I hope to see you right back here next time. Until then, have a wonderful day.